Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm Jay Cartere, and today is Monday, the 6th of February. And in this podcast, we're going to be talking about a fair amount of subjects. Now, I just listened to the new Big Sean album. To be honest, I wasn't really looking forward to this album that much. I don't know, like I'm a Big Sean fan, but this album really wasn't capturing my interest whatsoever. So I wasn't really, hyped up about it. Then I played it the other day in the background on my speakers and whatnot, and it just, I don't know, it just didn't hit a chord with me like the rest of Big Sean's albums have. So I was really not looking forward to listening to it, and then I listened to it today in the headphones, and it sounded way better. It sounded way better. I enjoyed it a whole lot more. And I think overall, it's a cool album. It's good. It's good. Let me look through the track listing to see what were the highlights. Light featuring Jeremiah was pretty cool. I'm a big fan of Jeremiah, so anything he's on, I generally like. Bounce Back was okay. I never really liked this song very much, but it wasn't too bad. In the concept of the album, I was vibes into it. I was, shucking and jiving and that sort of shit. No Favors featuring Eminem was an okay track. I think Eminem's verse started out good, and then he just chatting shit, and it just wasn't interesting to me at all. I don't really like Eminem of recent times. Like, I liked Eminem back in the day when he was good. Now I just believe he just sounds angry all the time, and I don't know, it's just not for me, innit? It's really not for me. He doesn't say anything really except for outlandish, wild stuff. Like, he said something about they thought I killed Jamie Lee Curtis or something. Like, come on, man. That's so mediocre. Who the fuck cares about? That's not even interesting. So it just wasn't for me. Jump Out the Window, I don't remember what that sounded like. I think it was an okay track. Moves was okay. And that Same Time featuring 2088, whatever is it, 2088? Yeah, 2088. That was a really short track, and I don't know why it says featuring 2088, because I think 2088 is a duo of Big Sean and Janae Aiko. I don't know why it just doesn't say featuring Janae Aiko, but I guess this is Big Sean trying to help Janae Aiko promote her next album. And I don't even remember the rest of these songs and how they sounded like. I think Voice in My Head was okay, Stick to the Plan. Sunday Morning Jetpack was pretty good with The Dream. I think The Dream also had, like, he was also in the background on one of these other tracks, but I'm not 100% sure which one he was in. But he done a good job in there also. And Inspire Me was alright. Sacrifices was not as good as I hoped it to be, featuring the Migos. I thought it was going to be very good, but it was alright. Bigger Than Me was, a nice big inspirational track. I think the lady singing on that was Stara, and she was very, very good. Very, very good. Very good feature. I think most of the features on this album where, like, they didn't really live up to the status of the artist. Like, the Migos, I expected more from them, and their track could have been better, and Eminem's track could have been better. The other features, the singing features, generally did their job, but the rapping features we could have done without. Overall, I think the album was okay. It wasn't the best album. I think on repeat listens, I'm going to be enjoying it a lot more, though. And I think I'm going to vibes to it eventually. Well, I'm vibes into it now. It wasn't a bad album. And Big Sean did do his thing. It just, I don't know. Maybe I'm just not feeling Big Sean like that anymore. I don't know. It's a different time, I guess. But this album definitely, I don't believe, was as good as the last album. But I'd still say, if you're a Big Sean fan and you like Big Sean, go check it out. If you don't like Big Sean, I'd say check out Dark Skies Paradise first, because I think that is the better album, to be honest, and that will bring you into, the Big Sean fandom. Hopefully, if you don't like that, then maybe you just don't like Big Sean. But yeah, it was okay. Now, I've got a few other things to touch on. I did want to touch on the Trump immigration ban because I did talk about it last week. I just briefly talked about my thoughts on the logic behind Donald Trump doing an immigration ban or so-called Muslim ban, and how I thought it was logical. It's a logical conclusion to come to. It may not be the right conclusion, but to block the entrance of certain individuals from certain countries that are believed to be terrorist hotspots or hotbeds makes sense. Like that makes sense in a logical stance. And I just saw loads of uproar and whatnot, and people saying, "Oh, this is terrible," and a lot of those cries of outrage seemed unsubstantiated to me, and just seemed like it's just people being offended for the sake of being offended. But I did see this story online. The headline is "Syrian family that voted for Donald Trump has been deported." And like that is just a hilarious headline from the standpoint of that this guy voted for Donald Trump and that Donald Trump isn't really working in his best interest, and now he feels a bit shitty. So let me read this real quick. One Syrian family is truly regretting their decision to elect a businessman as the new president of the United States after his immigration ban. NBC reports that the Asali family was ordered to return to Damascus, Syria, after they landed at Philadelphia International Airport. Dr. Ghassan Asali's family, who has been living in the US for over 20 years, was sent on an 18-hour flight back overseas. Asali's relatives, who are all Orthodox Christians, have visas and proof of green cards, but the family was told that they had to go back on the next flight and return to the Middle East. Now, that is wow. Now, when I heard about the immigration ban, what I believed it consisted of was, them blocking people from these specific countries from immigrating to the United States, not kicking out people who are already in the United States, or not letting people who had already spent a considerable time in the United States come back into the country. I believe that, the latter in that situation is terrible and has no real logical basis, because if someone spent 20 years in this country, like, you really believe they're just gonna up and become a terrorist now? Like that doesn't make sense. If they got green cards and all that sort of shit and you gave them to them, like, why are you sending them out of the country? Maybe if they've been here for like 3 months and they skimped by on their green card or something and you got it some wild way, or married into the green card like some people do, then fair enough. But someone who's been here for 20 years, I think this guy's a doctor, like it really, that doesn't make any logical sense to me, and I believe that is extremely silly. Now, then again, I do still believe that, America has the right to say, yo, these people from these countries can't come into the country. And I don't see why people are up in arms with that situation at all, because if you're in your house and you don't want certain people in your house, you say, I don't want these people in my house. No one around is gonna force you to let those people in your house and be like, oh, you're a terrible person because you don't let those people in your house. It just doesn't make any logical sense. Like, who the fuck cares? It's like, I'm not from America, so I don't know how it's going down over there, but I'm not, sitting on the edge of my seat begging to get into America anyways. Like, I'm not like, I really want to go into America. And if I wanted to go to someone's house and they was like, nah, you can't come, I'm not going to be, begging to get into their house. Like, what? I'm going to move on, innit? I'm going to move on. I'm going to go to someone else's house or stay in my own damn yard. But that's just what I believe on the situation. Feel free to share your opinions in the comment section below, or, tweet me in that. But there's also another development on the immigration ban that I just found out. I'm not fully abreast of the situation. It's a bit mad. Let me read out this article. So the headline is, Trump says to blame judge if something happens. Now, the US The U.S. Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals denied a motion to immediately reinstate President Donald Trump's travel ban early Sunday. Officials with the U.S. Department of Justice asked the court late Saturday to remove a federal judge's temporary block of Trump's executive order that halts travel from 7 Muslim-majority countries: Iran, Iraq, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, and Yemen. Because the court denied the Justice Department's request, the executive order will remain suspended. Trump was slow to respond, but placed blame on U.S. District Judge James Robart in a tweet Sunday afternoon. Just cannot believe, this is what he tweeted, just cannot believe a judge would put our country in such peril. If something happens, blame him and the court system. People pouring in. Bad. This is just typical Trump. Typical Trump. He likes to say something, like give 2 sentences and then do like a trigger word. Like a word with a fucking exclamation mark on the end so dumb people can understand what he's saying. Now, he followed that without another tweet saying he had instructed the Department of Homeland Security to check people coming into the country very carefully. The request for a stay was included with an appeal of the judge's order filed by the Justice Department. The appeal cites that a basic principle that an alien seeking initial admission to the United States requests a privilege and has no constitutional rights regarding his application, according to the Associated Press. The appeal process remains ongoing, with the court asking both the state of Washington and the Trump administration to file more arguments by Monday afternoon. So basically, the ban has been suspended temporarily because of this guy, Judge James Robart. So the Trump administration has to, they have to bring up some arguments to say why the ban shouldn't be suspended and should be reinstated. But currently, it's not reinstated. So all the people who want to get into America and were really, really, itching to get into America, but, the other week you were told that you weren't allowed to get in, now is the time to flood the gates and get in there. Hopefully, no bad apples get in there, no terrorists and whatnot. But also the statistics show that apparently no individual from these countries that have been banned have instigated an attack on America in quite a long time. So maybe this whole ban was, a silly decision. Maybe it's not actually solving the problem, but is actually instigating, more, what's the word? More prejudice towards people from these countries, which then, creates more discontent and more ill intent and, just makes them feel like they're hated. So they feel like, what, maybe I should become a terrorist. Maybe I should become a Muslim extremist or shit like that. Maybe it pushes them into those depths. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it protects the country. Maybe it doesn't. It's all maybes. But it doesn't seem like the best way to deal with the situation. Now, I do agree with Donald Trump's stance on, harsher, like, just looking into people as they come into the country. I'm unsure what that word is, but just basically making sure that people are who they say they are and aren't, trying to pull the wool over your eyes and get into the country under false pretenses and whatnot. Just, making sure that they're doing their due diligence and, giving a good in-depth process to making sure that everyone that is let into the country is a good law-abiding citizen and whatnot. And I believe that would be good. I'm not sure how harsh the visa processes are at the moment because I've never applied for a visa in America. But it seems like, those being stricter restrictions on people getting into the country isn't, a bad thing. As long as, if they pass the restrictions, they can get in and everything's cool. I think that's fine. But yeah, that is my Donald Trump. That is what I'm going to be saying on Donald Trump for this episode. That is the end of Donald Trump. Honestly, I don't want to be discussing Donald Trump every week, but it seems like every week he's going to be doing something that puts him in the forefront of the news and whatnot. So maybe I'll be discussing him every week. Well, I'll try to not overdo it, because you're probably hearing loads about Trump and you're probably getting sick of it at this moment, like, oh, fuck Trump or whatever. Or maybe you're like, oh, I love Trump, but I don't know. But yeah, I wanted to talk about a few series that I was watching the other day, or that I finished watching the other day on Netflix. The first one is a series of unfortunate events. Now, I read two of these books. The two, they're a series of books created by Lemony Snicket, or written by Lemony Snicket. I don't believe that's actually the real author's name, but that's the pen name that the author chose. And it's about three children whose parents demise in a fire. I didn't know if that was a little spoiler or whatnot, but it's not really a spoiler. And yeah, they go through a series of unfortunate events, basically. Now, I read the books. This series was based on a book, or a series of books. There's about 13 books. I read 3 of the books. And then I think I was reading them back at like secondary school. And then when I hit the 3rd one, the 4th one wasn't in the library. So I just called it quits and I kept it moving. I just never read the rest of it. But I did watch the movie that came out later with Jim Carrey. So I feel like I know some of the things that are supposed to happen at the end. I'm not sure how much artistic license they took with that movie and how much they changed, but I know the first 3 books, and this series, the first series, basically covers the first 4 books, and it was very good. Actually. No, a certain actress was very good. The series was okay. I do believe that Count Olaf seemed way dumber in the show than I think he was in the books, but I haven't read those books in years, so I may be wrong. I didn't like the fact that he was portrayed as such a dumbass, because in the books he seemed like a cunning mastermind to me. So I didn't like that. Some of I think the child actors were, mediocre. I don't really like this. There's not a lot of good child actors, to be honest. So you haven't really got a lot to contend with. There's not a lot of stuff to pick like good child actors. So I guess they done the best with what they had. But yeah, I believe the child actors were, mediocre. I believe the adult actors were pretty good though. Most of the time it was a little over the top and a little cartoonish and whatnot, but I feel like it's for children, so that makes sense. I wanted to talk about a certain actress who I saw in Luke Cage, and I think I was disappointed with her performance. I didn't know if she was just like, her acting wasn't very good or that was her character, and that is Alfre Woodard, I believe that's her name. And she played a lady in Luke Cage. I forgot the exact name, but it begins with M. And yeah, she seemed very skittish, very weird, very, I don't know. It just didn't. It just seemed weird to me. Her character seemed very weird. And then when I saw her play the character that she plays in a series of unfortunate events, she just done an awesome job. She done a very, very good job. Like, I really believed her character. And then I could see that what she done before in Luke Cage was just acting. That wasn't, her just being herself and just acting awkwardly because she's not a good actress. Like, she's a very good actress. And I feel she done a very good job, and I really enjoyed her performance in that. And I just wanted to, shout her out. I know, even though I didn't understand what was going on in Luke Cage, I understand now. I understand that she's a good actress. She's not mediocre as I had previously thought, and I wanted to clear that up. Now, I would suggest watching this series if you're into, some I wouldn't even say it's, light-hearted entertainment, because it's pretty unfortunate, to be honest. As the title dictates, it's a series of unfortunate events. A lot of bullshit happens, not a lot of happy endings, and the series ends on a cliffhanger, which happens a lot with these Netflix series. And it hurts my heart. It hurts my heart to watch 10 episodes, or 8 episodes in this case, and then the series ends on a cliffhanger and you have to wait a whole other year. But, fair enough. It has to be done, innit? But I think it's an okay show. It's an okay show. I feel like I'm looking forward to the next series. So if you like this sort of stuff, if you read the books, if you watched the movie, if you like that, then definitely check out the show. Definitely check it out. And the next show that I watched, which I believe is very good, actually. I thought it had an interesting premise, and it's got 2 actors that I enjoy. Well, I don't even know if I necessarily enjoy these actors. I don't go around watching their films and whatnot. But one of them looks extremely like Turtle from fucking, what's that show called? From Entourage. And I believe that they were the same person or brothers for so long. But I think I recently found out that they're not actually related. So this series is called Santa Clarita Diet, and it stars Drew Barrymore and Timothy Olyphant. Now, I thought Timothy Olyphant was the guy related to Turtle, but I don't think they actually are. But they look so fucking similar. They look like they're from the same family or cousins or something. And I just thought, yeah, maybe he got fat and became Turtle. But no, this series is about a woman, or a family who the mother of the family, and mother and wife of the family, dies and comes back to life and becomes a zombie, and they have to deal with that fact and basically try and keep her alive, fed, and try and deal with the situation at hand. And I think it was really cool. It was funny. It's a comedy. It's 30-minute episodes. There are only 10 episodes, so it's not gonna eat into your day, into your life and whatnot. Pretty cool experience. Wrapped it up the other day, and I'm looking forward to the next season. It does end on a cliffhanger, just like a series of unfortunate events, which I was a little bit annoyed about, because the cliffhanger they ended on was a bit fucked up still. But it was a very good series, and I am looking forward to the second series. And if you guys are sitting around watching EastEnders and soaps and shit, I implore you to stop that stuff and watch a good series. Watch something that actually has some creative intent behind it, has some good writing, and isn't just people, drumming out the same shit week after week, day after day. Watch Game of Thrones or House of Cards or one of these new series that I'm talking about. Like, I do want to start bringing you guys on new series and whatnot, because there's so many great TV shows out there that I believe people aren't watching. Like, people are just sitting at home watching crappy TV shows like fucking Hollyoaks and Come Dine With Me, or stuff that's not really great. But if you enjoy it, you enjoy it. I'm not saying you can't enjoy that sort of stuff, but give this other stuff a chance. See if you enjoy this more, and I believe that if you enjoy this more, it'll be better use of your time, really. So yeah, those are the 2 series that I watched this week. I've got a question for you guys. A question that I guess I'm gonna try and answer, but it's really a question that I wanna hear from you guys. It's about video games and whatnot, and I told you guys that I wanna get into talking about video games a whole lot more, because I didn't really get to do that over our course and talk about it with Mike and that lot, because he doesn't really play video games. But now I'm doing the podcast by myself. I have the carte blanche to go and do whatever the fuck I want. And what I want to ask is, do you prefer playing video games by yourself or with others, and which do you believe is the richer experience? Now, I don't know, because I played games by myself for the majority of my game playing lifetime. Like, when I first started playing games, I played them with my brother, and obviously sometimes I play by myself and whatnot, but I think he had the console first of all. So he had the Super Nintendo, and then he gave that to me when he got a Nintendo 64. And then he had the PS2 and he gave me the Nintendo 64. And then he had the Xbox 360. And then I got an Xbox 360. I think he gave me some of the money to buy an Xbox 360 for my birthday or something. So we both had the Xbox 360s and then we was playing together on like COD and shit like that. But a lot of the time on that journey, he had the better console in it. So in order to play, I had to play with him or play when he wasn't playing, but have his permission or whatever. But when we both got the same console, we were playing together, like playing COD and whatnot. And I'd play some games by myself and I'd complete certain games here and there. And yeah, it was pretty much a solo experience most of the time. But I did have, times playing with my brothers and playing with, some friends and that. But then when I moved over to PS3, it's like I really just didn't play with anyone. It was really a solo experience for most of that ride. Like any online game I played, if I played like not Overwatch, if I played Call of Duty or Battlefield, it was basically just playing it by myself, just going in there and you getting into a large team or whatever and just playing solo. And I've played that way for a while. And yeah, I've played multiplayer games solo, so to speak, for a while. And also, sometimes I like to play a single player game. Like I like to play GTA single player. I enjoyed finishing the campaign, even though I did record the whole fucking thing, so I didn't really have the chance to enjoy it like I usually would. But certain times I play a single player game and I get like halfway through it or quarter way through it, and then I just stop playing. Maybe another new game comes out and I just start playing that, or I just move on to another game, or I just stop playing because life gets in the way for a whole long time. And that just might be, the way I play games in general and just, life happening. But recently, I've been playing this game called Ark. If you've listened to the previous podcast, you probably heard me talk about it. And this game is really, really focused on playing with other people. There's this concept in the game of tribes, of working together in groups so that you can get, a goal accomplished, a common goal accomplished and whatnot. And, work together against other people and work together to build stronger and that sort of stuff. And solo players are really, really, really at a disadvantage. If you're playing by yourself, and, a group of 5 people come to try and destroy you and rob your base, the likelihood is you're going to get robbed. Sometimes you can probably, if you're really skilled, you could probably deal with it. You can probably, get out of that situation. But most of the time, numbers will beat you. Numbers will beat you because if you die, there's like a 5-minute respawn timer, I think. Or no, you might be able to, you can respawn immediately, but then if you die again, there's a 5-minute respawn timer after you die. So like they can just clear out your base, rob all your shit and be out and gone by the time you respawn again. Or they can destroy your bed, which is what you should generally do because you respawn at beds. And being in numbers definitely helps your productivity because it takes fucking ages to do a lot of things on the game. If you wanted to build like a 4x4 house, it would probably take you like, I don't know, maybe 3 to 5 hours of grinding whatnot by yourself, depending on if you have the correct resource gathering dinos or if you're just doing it by hand. But if you had friends or other people helping you with it, then it's going to take, less than that time because you got more people dedicating their time to the same goal. So it really does give you an advantage. And I've really enjoyed the experience of playing with other people, because up until recently, I had never really done that. I wasn't in parties. Like, I saw all these fucking parties on PSN and I never joined any of them. When people invited me to parties, I was like, allow it. I went gad to them because, like, what was the point? They weren't playing the game that I was playing. They was just trying to invite me to a party to just fucking talk in my head. So I wasn't dealing with that or anything. I really was just a straight up solo gamer. But I'm really enjoying the multiplayer side of things as well and, playing together in a community and whatnot. But I think there's a place for both aspects, both sides of the coin, so to speak. Because at times I do just like to sit down and not have to talk to anyone or deal with anyone for a while and just zone out and enjoy some, some free time of playing games and whatnot. And, enjoy that experience. But sometimes I also really enjoy the camaraderie and want to, play games with other people and get shit done quicker because we're doing it with more people. So we're getting it done in half the time or whatever like that. So I think there are places for both. Which do I believe is richer experience? It depends. It depends on what you want to do at that point in time. If you just want to relax and, chill by yourself and you don't want to deal with any stress, you don't want to hear anything from anyone, you just want to be by yourself and just zone out, then obviously playing a game solo is the best choice there. But if you like to, engage in a community or whatnot, or I don't know, if you want to play with other people or get things done in a more effective way or play better. If you're playing a multiplayer game, then it's generally better to play with other people, I believe. I think it's probably 5 times better in all multiplayer games. Like, if you're playing it by yourself, I think you're going to be at a disadvantage compared to people who are coordinated and talking to each other in a party or with mics or whatever. You're definitely going to be at a disadvantage. So in a multiplayer game, if you have the opportunity, I would say always go with a group. Obviously, single player games, you can't really play them with other people, but some single player games do have co-op, like dropping co-op and co-op, not requirements, but features, co-op features, so you can utilize those. I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling now. I think there's benefits to both of them. I really want to hear you guys' opinions on both of these situations. And I'm going to be creating a Discord chat for, my subscribers, people who want to discuss things with me and stuff like that, where I'm going to be, posting my videos and streams and whatnot and just talking to you guys. And yeah, you can find people to play games with and all that sort of stuff. And I'll be making a video on that soon. But I will put the link out if you guys really want to join now. I haven't finished all the setting up and whatnot. But if you want to get in there super early, fair enough. The Discord link is discord.me/Jay Cartere. Now, Discord is a really great app if you don't know about it. It's basically like... It's like WhatsApp, but you don't need people's numbers, and you can create a large server and have loads of people. It's like a group chat. It's a big group chat, but you can also have little sections in that group chat. So, for example, the main chat in this server is, discussion, but I could also make another chat for YouTube videos or another chat for a certain type of discussion, and on and on and on. And then you can also have voice chat. You can also have voice conversations and whatnot. And I want to use this to, get to know my community, get people to play with each other, and not in that way, not in the sexual way, if that's what you thought. But, maybe if you guys want to do that, fair enough. But play games with each other online. So this is mainly for PlayStation 4 players, I believe. If you got Xbox One and that, and you're on the dark side, fair enough, you can jump in. But yeah, this is mainly for PlayStation 4 players. And I want you guys to, get to know each other, play together and have fun, basically. And we can also discuss. I can get ideas for my videos from you guys. And I think it'll be some good stuff. But yeah, that's going to be the end of the podcast. I think we're at over 30 minutes, which is pretty cool. I think I'm going to start doing these podcasts on Mondays. That is the hope. But if I do feel like recording another podcast or I've got something to talk about, I guess I will just do that and record another podcast and just put another one out. But I do want to set the regular day to Mondays, and it'll probably come out on Tuesdays because I've got a lot of fucking editing to do today, so I don't want to spend the rest of my time trying to export the podcast videos and get that out today. So I'm going to be putting out the podcast on Tuesdays from now on. That is the hope. We'll see if things change next week, but this is the schedule for now. I hope you guys liked this podcast and all that sort of shit. If you liked it, be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe, as I'll be putting out more podcasts, and leave a comment down below. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, also be sure to leave a comment, repost, and subscribe or follow us on SoundCloud. And be sure to rate, review, and is there a comment feature? No, there is no comment feature. And subscribe on iTunes, as that really helps out as well. The comments, the likes, and all that sort of shit on YouTube really helps out. I had a few comments and whatnot, a few, comments of encouragement of guys telling me, keep on doing the podcast and whatnot, and that's basically what made me continue to do the podcast. Otherwise, I would have been like, fuck it, what's the point? So yeah, if you want me to continue doing the podcast, be sure to leave a comment and let me know, and hit that like button so I know that people are actually enjoying the podcast and you guys want more. Be sure to get involved in the discussion on the YouTube channel, as that's where I mainly check everything. But leave a review on iTunes and whatnot, because that helps put us up in the rankings and get more listeners and whatnot, which will effectively make me do the podcast more. So yeah, do all that shit. It really helps out. And I will see you guys next week. Peace out.
It's been a cold winter and it's lasted far too long. So all this warmth I share with you